Our lesson today is to be able to analyze the median and mode for the set of data. A couple of vocabulary terms here. First, we have the median. It's the middle number in a set of data when the data is arranged from least to greatest. First key point here about the median. For an even number of data items, you can find the median by adding the two middle numbers and dividing by 2. Another key item for the median is that the median gives a good description of numerical data with outliers. The mode is the data item that appears most often. A data item or a data set may have more than one mode, or it may have no mode. The mode is useful when the data items are repeated or not numerical. Last vocabulary term is measures of center. Measures of center are measures that describe the typical value of a data set. The mean is one type of measure of center. The median and the mode are the other two types. So we have 3 measures of center, and measures of center attempt to describe a set of data using one number. Your 3 types of measures of center are mean, median, and the mode. First example we're going to take a look at today is to be able to find the median. First, we have to arrange the data items from least to greatest. So we'll start with that. Looks like the lowest data item we have is 18. Then we have 2 data items of 19. All right, so let's cross them out. Looks like the next data item is 20, and there's 2 of them, 20 and 20. Next data item we have in order from least to greatest looks like it's 22. Then we have 2 23s, 23, 23. Then we have a 24. And then we have a 34. So your first step in finding the median is to arrange your items from least to greatest. I always like to double check to make sure that we have used all of our data items. So I'll just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Make sure that I have 10 items here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So when we're finding the median, we arrange from least to greatest. I see that I have 10 data items here. So because there's an even number of data items, we're going to have 2 middle items here. We have 4 items to the left of our 2 middle items, and we have 4 items to the right, or greater than our 2 middle items. To find the median for an even set of data items, we want to add these 2 data items together and divide by 2. So when we add 20 and 22, we get 42. 42 divided by 2 is 21. So our median is going to be 21. Your steps there: arrange your data items from least to greatest. Then you find the middle number if it's an odd set of data items, or the 2 middle numbers, you add them together and divide by 2 if we have an even number of data items. Okay, let's find the median here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 data items. So we have an odd number of data items. So it's going to be a little bit different. First, we arrange from least to greatest. So I have a 9. Then from least to greatest, looks like we have the 17. Then we have the 19. And then from least to greatest, it looks like we have the 28. Then I have the 32. Then the 35. And then the 39. Make sure I have 7 items. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. My items are arranged from least to greatest. I'm going to have 1 middle item because we have an odd number of data items, and that 1 middle item would be our median. All right, next page. When we're finding the mode is the data item that repeats most often. So we group the data items here. I have 5 pizzas. Pizzas occurred the most, right? And these are 15 students that listed their favorite lunches. So we want to find the response that occurred most often. And the mode is the best measure of central tendency or is the best measure of center when your data is not numerical. I have 3 hamburgers, I have 4 tacos, and I have 3 spaghettis. So pizza is the mode because it's the item that appears most often. All right, let's go on to the next page here. Here we're given a bunch of data. These are responses for the favorite types of movies from students in a class. Organize the data in a frequency table, then find the mode. So we want to take a look at the different types of movies we have. So we have comedies. Right? Comedy is one type of movie. Then we have horror. Then we have what else? Action. And then we have drama. So those are the 4 different types of movies that were responded. Tallies. So let's start. I have a comedy here, a horror, comedy, action, horror, comedy, horror, horror, drama, drama, comedy, comedy, drama, comedy, comedy, action, horror, horror, action, action, comedy, horror, action, and drama. Just want to make sure that I have how many? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 20. Should have 24 responses. 5, 10, 15. 15 and 5 is 20. Yes, we have 24 responses. So we tally them up. Here we have 8. Here I have 7. Here I have 5. And here I have 4. So if I'm looking for the mode, the data item that appears most often would be comedy. So comedy would be the mode for that situation. All right, now we want to be able to choose the best measure of center. So we have mean, median, mode are our options. All right, if we're just looking at the data items here, the mode would not be the best measure of center because the data is numerical. And the mode will only be the best measure of center when the data is not numerical. So I know it's not going to be the mode for the best measure of center. Now it's between the median and the mean. The median is your best measure of center if there are outliers. And do we see outliers here? We do see outliers. An outlier would be 122 because $122 is much more expensive than all the other sneakers. So because the data has an outlier and because the data is numerical, the best measure of center here is going to be the median. All right. Now they're asking us to find the mean, median, and mode. All right. Is there a mode? Is there a score that repeats most often? Yes, your mode is 20, but that will not be our best measure of center. If I'm finding the median, I want to range from least to greatest. So I have 20 and 20. Just cross them out. Then we have what? Looks like 31. Any other 30s? No. Oh yes, 37. 37. And then we have what? 45 and 46. 45, 46, 45, and not 46, that's 48. Let's erase that. Right, that's 48. And then we have, let's see, that was 45, 48. Then it looks like we have the 65 and then the 122. 65, 122. Should have 8 items. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the 2 middle items from least to greatest would be the 37 and the 45. We add them together. 37 and 45 would be 82. We divide that by 2. That's going to give us 41 for the median. All right. To find the mean, we have to find the sum, and then we divide by 8. So if we're finding the sum, we're going to take 20 plus 20 plus 31 plus 37 plus 45 plus 48 plus 65 plus 122. We get a total of 388. 388 divided by the 8, divided by 8, and we get 48.5. 48.5 for our mean. As we said before, the median would be your best measure of center because of this outlier here. The mean is the best measure of center if the data is numerical and does not have outliers. All right. if we take a look at these two problems, you guys should probably try these on your own, right? But let's take a look at these problems and see. And then we want to choose the measure that best represents the data. Well, we should be able to look at the data and choose the best measure of center just by looking at it. So if I'm looking at this first item here, I see outliers. I see 194, I see 1, and because I see data that's numerical and I see outliers, this would be the median, would be the best measure of center here. Right, that would be your median. Here I'm looking for outliers, and I really don't see outliers. I know 150 is larger than 102, but here, right, 1 is more than 90 away or 55 away. 194 is more than 100 away from any of the other numbers. We don't have anything like that here, so the mean would probably be your best measure of center because the data is numerical with outliers. All right, let's continue. If we're analyzing the data, our example says to find the mean, median, and mode for the number of minutes spent on the internet. Does the mean, median, or mode best describe the typical amount of time spent on the internet? Well, if we're looking at the data, all right, we see that the data is numerical. So if the data is numerical, the mode is not going to be your best measure of center. It's either going to be the mean or the median. I see an outlier here, right? I see a number that's much greater than all of the other numbers. So your mean would not be your best measure of center, right, leaving your median as your best measure of center. All right? We're looking at our next example. The top 5 women's 1-meter diving scores are recorded. Does the mean, median, or mode best describe these data? Right? The data is numerical, so it's not going to be the mode. It's not going to be your best measure of center because the data is numerical. I don't see any outliers here, so we could use the mean as your best measure of center. So your mean would be your best measure of center here. Okay? Here, in our next example, it says to identify the outlier in example 3, find the mean, median, and mode without the outlier. Which measure does the outlier affect the most? The price of $122 is greater than any other price, so it is an outlier, right? And that's going back to this, let's go way back. That's going all the way back to this problem here. So we're talking about this data. And notice that $122 is way more than any of the other amounts. If you look at our 3 measures of center, with the outlier, notice the mean is much higher. When we take that outlier out, the mean drops by more than 10, right? And that's the difference, right? Which measure of center does the outlier affect the most, right? The outlier will always affect the mean. And because the outlier affects the mean, we do not use the mean as our best measure of center when the data has outliers. Notice the mode does not change whether we have the outlier or not. Notice the median does change a bit, but it only changes by 4. All right? So let's look at our next example. Oops. Let's see. Describe the daily high temperatures using the measures of center. Okay, this is an example that I like for my students to try on their own, so you can either stop the video and then try it, but I'll go through the example with you. Measures of center, we want to arrange from least to greatest. So it looks like 64 would be the least. Then we have a 65. Then we have a 67. Then we have 271, 71, 71. Then we have a 72. And then we have a 73. All right, so we have 7 items. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, because we have an odd number of data items, we're going to have one middle number. That's our median. The mode is the score that repeats most often. We only have one score that repeats, so your mode is also 71. Right? The mode is 71 as well. To find the mean, we have to find the sum of the data, and then we have to divide. So let's find that sum. We have 64 plus 65 plus 67 plus 71 plus 71 plus 72 plus 73. Right, so the sum of the data is 483, but we're dividing that sum by 7 to find the mean. So we divide that by 7 and we get a mean of 69, right? So that's our mean. Mean is going to be 69. So make sure that when we're finding our measures of center, we want to arrange from least to greatest. We find the median first, and then we can add to find the sum. We divide that sum by the number of data items. That's going to give us our mean. Let's try this next one. We want to find the table shows the number of monkeys at 11 different zoos. Find the median and the mode for this set of data. We need the median and the mode. Arrange from least to greatest first. Looks like 12 is the lowest value. Then we have, it looks like 16. And then we have two scores of 18, 18, 18. Let's see, do we have anything in the 20s? Yes, we have 25 is in the 20s. Then we have, it looks like 28. Then we have a 30. Right, we have to arrange from least to greatest first. Looks like we have a 34. Then we have a 36. Then we have a 42. And then we have a 44. Right, let me just double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We have an odd number of data items, so we will have one middle score. And that one middle score looks like it would be this item here, because we're going to have 5 scores that are greater than 28, 5 scores that are less than 28. So that's our median. The median is the middle item when arranged from least to greatest. Your mode is the score that repeats most often. Looks like the only score that repeats is the 18. So because that repeats most often, that's going to be our mode. All right. We want to be able to find measures of center from data displays, so we are asked to find the median and the mode here by taking a look at these temperatures. We have 4 temperatures here. In order to find the median, we have to arrange from least to greatest. So it looks like the least is 55.8, then we have a 58.2, then we have a 64.4, and then we have a 71.2. Obviously there's no mode because there's no score that repeats most often, but to find the median, we're going to have to add these two together and then divide by 2. So let's do that. We have 58.2 plus the 64.4. We get a sum of 122.6. We're going to divide that by 2. All right, and when we divide that by 2, we wind up with 61.3 for the median. When we have an even number of data items, we add and then we divide by 2. All right, and that's going to be it for our lesson today. I hope that was helpful, and see you guys soon.